Skånska Landskap Foundation, we manage nearly 11,000 hectares of forest, mostly forested land throughout Scania, and the owner of these are 6 different foundations. So, but we have our management sort of coordinated in this Scania Landskap Foundation, where me and Emma work. We have an office in Hörby, outside Hörby, Tofta, one of our largest states. We have a long-term cooperation, you can say, with the regional board. The regional board is responsible. So, Sassi, come. Sassi. It's responsible for the health care and public transportation, but also issues concerning to planning, environment, and so on. And these foundations have a long sort of history linked to the regional board. Earlier it was 2 different countries in Scania, but now it's one. So, and we, our board is regional politicians. So they sort of decide a little bit about what we, how we manage our forest and how we manage, a lot of things. And then we have money from the regional board. We got around 14 million Swedish crowns every year. But this money goes to maintaining and developing the infrastructure for all our wood paths that we have on our recreation areas. Wood paths, it was places where you can stay and grill, where you can sit and so on. Goes to information, social media, also to take out kids out in the forest. We have different projects, so young people can come out, even if you live in towns, you can come out in the forest for 1 day at least. And then we have a lot of information, and we have an information center in Tofta. So this is sort of a public task that we have from the regional board. And then Emma, me and another colleague to us mostly work with this management of the land. We work with forestry, we work with nature conservation. We have around 2,500 hectares of our land is nature reserve. And we manage this land. We take care of the roads, parking lots, we take care of the wood paths connected to this infrastructure in the recreation areas. So we had sort of two economies, you can say. This we cannot take money from the forest and to take care of the infrastructure. We take the money from the region board to take care of it. So we have sort of ditch between us, but we work in the same organization and we cooperate a lot. I will show you a little map later, but this Breanäs, it's a fairly small estate, around 90 hectares, and we will, sort of. I just took a map, so we are here right now, and it's situated in the north part of the big lake. It's called Immeln, this lake.
Yeah, which you see.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah. But we will not go down to the lake. It's very popular. There's a lot of people coming here and walking in the forest, canoeing during the summer and so on. So it's a very sort of visited area for a lot of people. So we will walk in this area, in the middle, you can say, not going down and not in the middle. So around 90 hectares land, yeah.
Okay.
So will be
Yeah, and I think also if we mention terms related to forest management that you don't understand, just ask us and we will try our best to explain. But one of the reasons to why you are here is that a year ago, excuse me, I asked Cecilia if she wanted to be part of a project that is actually driven by Skogforsk, which is a research institute regarding forest management in Sweden. And this focus group this time, or it was most focused on actually more adaptive forest management with a focus on continuous cover forestry, where we were asked as the landowner to sort of host different interest groups so we could start a dialogue. So it's kind of complex and a bit more researchy. And then the bottom line is that I asked Cecilia if she and her group in ForestPath wanted to have a stand, meaning a patch of forest about 6-7 hectares big, to basically do what they wanted. And that's why we're here, because we're going to look at their project. So, and also the estate of Breanäs is now managed only with continuous covered forestry methods. So we're shifting towards what we call the traditional clear-cut forest management system towards a continuous covered forestry system. So it's very different. So even though when we're going to walk around here in the afternoon, you will probably see like, yeah, but the stands pretty much look the same. Yes, they do. But we are sort of slowly transitioning from one system to the other, and it takes about 100 years for it to take a full effect. So we're just in the starting process. So yeah, this project, I think it's about a year ago that we came here for the first time with Cecilia and Johanna and a bunch of other scientists, and they were like, yeah, but what are we supposed to do? And I just said, yeah, whatever, just do something. So that was the initial startup, and then we've been here a couple of times together. We've gone through the stand multiple times and just had a discussion on what to do, how to do it, difficulties, what could be the benefits of doing this or that, and just going through everything. And I will not talk so much about it, but I think it turned out really nice. And yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, I think also the collaboration between theory and practice is really good, because we stand for the more practical part, and you guys came with the theoretical ideas, and now we just implemented them. And it takes time for forests to change. I think that's really important to keep in mind. Even though we think it grows quite fast in the southern parts of Sweden, it's going to take a lot of time. So most of the forest that we're going to see here is between 25 to 100.
100 years.
Yeah. So quite young forests still, all of them.
But you can have in mind that a lot of these forests, if you go back 100 or 150 years ago, this was much open landscape. It was nearly every land it was grazed, and it was more or less trees on it, and so it doesn't look this at that time. So it has been a change.
Yeah, the forests here are quite young compared to what we used to look like. And most of the trees that we're going to see today have been planted. So it's a man-made forest.
I think, you can, if you come up with more documentation, but you can maybe continue with some words about the ForestPath project, which is the project.
Can I just ask,
Yeah.
what's the reason behind taking the decision to convert to continuous cover forestry here in Breanäs?
Well, I would say the short answer is because we think it's fun.
Okay.
The long answer is that we have a forest management strategy where we have 4 goals on how we manage our forest. So we have the production part, because we need to make money to maintain all the structure, but also we focus a lot on biodiversity, climate change adaptation, adaptation and recreation. And with the changing climate, and I think it's also kind of interesting when you are in the southern parts of Sweden, because we need to look further south, so we sort of end up in Germany, and we can see what's happening in Germany the past 10-15 years, which is really concerning actually. So we need to change, and we need to do it now, but we don't really know how. So that's why we're doing different types of things. We sort of just, as we say in Sweden, we don't want to put all the eggs in the same basket. And also we really like the idea of a continuous covered forestry, but we want to have a mixture of forest species, so it's not just spruce and beech, but we want to have more light spawning species as well, such as oak and pine, and we don't really know how to get that. So we're trying quite a lot of different things in different areas to see what works.
We started in the foundation. We started this work about 15 years ago, and started more in beech dominated forest, but here also in more mixed forest with both conifers and broadleaves. And we will see that after lunch. A little bit what has been done during the last 15-20 years here. So it was a sort of a good place to continue with this project here too,
Yes.
because we're not started at zero. We had done a lot of work here before. So, but it takes, as Emma said, it takes fairly long time to change a clear-cut system to a continued forest system. So, yeah.
And also, I think there's quite a lot of sandwiches left, so just keep.
You don't get any lunch if you don't have any.
Because it's going to be a while until lunch, so it's good to stock up on some sandwiches.
So the map that you showed before, can I have
Yeah.
a look at it again?
Yes.
Because I'm so curious where we are.
You like map?
I'm a map.
I have another map you can look at.
So may I ask, so the whole forest you said 90 hectares is not for wood production.
And this is for wood production.
Wood production.
Yes.
How many volume of wood per year or something like that? In your
Well, we have the annual growth is about 8 cubic meters per year in hectare.
okay.
But that's just the growth rate of the trees.
Yeah.
And I think now that we've done quite a lot of thinnings, which you will see, we've taken out about 1,000 cubic meters. From what is it, maybe 30 hectares?
Maybe Johanna could
Yeah, you will
Okay.
see.
So normally for wood production forest mostly purely conifers.
Yes.
Yeah, but here I see this is definitely not for that.
Yeah, no, but this is still a production for us. But you will see the
Alright,
conifers
good.
this afternoon. Well,
Okay, good.
now.
Oh, thank you.
reducing conflict between different shows. And we actually look at exactly the same things as you, which is production, climate, biodiversity and recreation. And we look specifically into, we have a group working on biodiversity, trying to kind of connect management with forest structures with biodiversity so that we can model, because we also have modelers from SLU who use the Heureka model, which can model, they can run different scenarios of forest management and then see what structures they get. And if we have this connection to biodiversity, we can also get measures of biodiversity. And the same for recreation. We have, we call it recreation and human well-being because it's, we work with environmental psychologists. For example, Michael is here today.
Okay.
He will introduce himself a bit more later. And what they do is to try to connect management to structures to actually different interest groups in so it's kind of like species. It's different, like people who do sports, people who just walk in the forest, and they want different things. Sometimes they are in conflict, but that's what you look at. So we are kind of a theoretical version of what they do in Skånska Landskap, and that's why we were really happy to get this opportunity, because when we sit and do our modeling, we can miss so many things, and you will understand more when you go in forest today. I mean, regeneration, for example, we can't do anything. We have to do things so that the forest really regenerates. We can't just we need those practices, and that's why we have talked to you a lot. We also got a lot of help talking with the guy driving the forest machines, because I mean some solutions have to be adapted to what's possible. He has to decide where to drive, and that's also important, because then we get those what is it called, like those small trails. And of course they should be situated in a way so that it's also good for recreation and biodiversity. So it's a really great chance to try to make the things we do, the research we do, something that can be really used in reality. So I met Emma first on an excursion in Stiftelsen, and then I just thought all the time that I have to bring everyone here because they also have to hear this. And then we actually had a excursion that some of you might have been to, and also I brought the ForestPath team. I remember it was really fun because I knew that the biodiversity people would get upset when you told which was the nicest recreation forest, because it was not the nicest biodiversity forest, and they got really upset, I think.
Yeah, but they didn't really protest so much.
No, but it's true. I mean, we have no conflict between recreation and biodiversity. We don't want it to be like that, but it's actually a fact.
So then I think the cooperation between you and the man in the machine, normally it's a man driving the machine.
A woman, but mostly it's a man.
Because this is about how we always work when we do management in our forest. We are manager, but we don't own our own machine. We have entrepreneurs that have machines. So it's very important for us to sort of communicate and try to explain this is the way we want to have the management in our forest, the foundation forest, and that's how you have been doing.
Yeah.
So because you cannot own the forest.
No. And he is really good because he can tell you how you would like it to look like, and then you don't have to say stuff that, because we can't really say that. But I think he's over average when it comes to, I don't know, Emil. I would hope that everyone is like him, but not sure. No, I would have guessed he's really good. Yeah. And when I look at when he's working, he makes kind of choices all the time, which tree to do. I mean, it seems like a really difficult job.
Yeah, but I think just to put it in perspective, I think the machine that cuts trees is called a harvester, and it's fully automatic. It's a shame we couldn't be here last week just when he was still here. But he makes, I think, the same amount of decisions every minute as you would do as a fighter jet, as a pilot in a fighter jet. So it's a lot of choices. It's a big machine, that's quite massive, and he has a medium-sized harvester, so it's not big, but it's quite big. And just planning everything, and yeah, he's sitting there with two little joysticks and a lot of buttons and pedals, and yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's kind of irreversible also.
Yeah. I think it takes 1 minute to cut the tree and to process it.
Yeah.
So they're very effective, you can say. But no, I think he also really enjoyed doing this project because he likes to be challenged and he likes to think for himself. So, and I think he also likes to sort of show off a little bit. Actually. But yeah, no, it's been good to have him on board. And now we have the forwarder here, which you probably will see this afternoon. I just have to convince the operator that we want to say hi to you. He's a bit shy, so but he normally does this. Yeah, just to see what modern type of forest or forestry looks like. But I could also add that we sometimes do take out the timber from the forest with horses in some areas, but it's also it's a bit more expensive, and in a terrain like here, that you're gonna see it, horses is not an option, so we need to have the machines if we want to have timber out from the forest.
But then the management for us is of course, we have this sort of mixed use of it for recreation, biodiversity, climate, but also for production. We need the incomes to the foundations to take care of nature conservation management, to do planting, thinning, take care of the roads and parking lots. And we have a lot of houses, about 100 houses in the foundation that we have to take care of. So we need income, and forestry is very important for Sweden as a nation. But we had to be better in manage the forest and sort of develop these mixed goals that we have.
A quick question: this guy that you're working with, you work with him just around here, or
No.
for all the area?
Not all the areas, but quite a lot of the areas. I would say that he's sort of like in the middle and the northern parts of Skåne. But yeah, when we have special projects, he sort of gets handpicked. He's also 24, so we put a lot of effort into training him into what we want him to do.
Well, this is what I mean. You put a lot of effort into training him and to
Yes.
get what you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, but
And then, so you don't need to go through the normal book
Yeah.
handling.
Yes, we do.
it's one of these.
Yeah,
But
so
we have other pilots, they call pilots, that are really good too. But he is sort of a little bit extra trained
yeah,
in
I
this
think
container.
Continuous cover
Yeah,
project. Yeah.
cover forest.
And I think also because he's
But-
younger, he's easier
Yeah.
to.
But we are not interested to have a pilot or entrepreneur that doesn't want to work with us and with our thoughts. Then they can go somewhere else,
Yes.
sort
Yeah.
of.
But he makes the decision. Ni stämplar inte det innan alltså?
No, we
no,
don't
no.
do that. We
No.
talked about it, but ended up not doing it. We wrote a long.
Yeah, quite a long.
Because
list
it's
of
so much
instructions.
work to do it in beforehand, and it's not getting good because it depends on how the pilot works in the stand. So it's much better to learn the pilot how we want to have it. And sometimes we mark small areas, and then the pilot can do it, and then we look, and then we can adjust.
So are there
the way
guidelines
that-
for diameter distributions for what he should cut and things like that?
He can make the decisions without us. I know this summer I actually spent some time inside the machine with him, just to sort of get an idea of what it's like and what he can see from up there, because it's actually quite different. But he said, yeah, in areas where we want to have something very specific, it's good that we just do like a small sample area where we mark a couple of trees so he can sort of get into the mindset of what we want. But yeah, he learns really fast. He knows what we want by now.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
So when you say continuous forestry, it means that you're not clear cutting the forest,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
thinning.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
forest.
sort of thinning methods, but you
And how
thin
much-
you
what-
thin some mature trees too, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is the goal with the thinning? Is it like 10%, 50%?
For you mean for
When
all
you
of
do
the
it.
foundation land?
Yes, for example.
I don't know. We are discussing the
Yeah,
goal.
we're just.
What do you think? Maybe 20% or something?
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to have an overall goal because it depends on like each individual stand, what the age is like, the species, composition, if it's a mixed forest or monoculture, what the goal for that particular stand is, if it's more towards nature values or if it's more towards production. Do we want to sort of improve the chances of natural regeneration, then we might do something differently. But I think when we sort of get the whole system up and running, I think the goal is to take out about 50 cubic meters per hectare for each cutting, and then maybe we do a thinning every 7th year. So, but yeah, we're not there yet.
But then I think we will still have methods where we take gaps,
Yeah.
and some of these gaps are maybe up to half or 1 hectare or something. So you can call that small clear cuts. Because we need that to get all this more light species like pine, oak, birch. We get birch nearly everywhere, but to manage these trees we need to have larger gaps than you normally have in continued cover forest. So we will not have this picking of separate trees throughout the areas. I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so. I
it's
think
suitable here.
But I think also there's several different kinds of methods when it comes to continuous cover forestry, and what we will use depends on each stand.
Okay, so I think you can, if you have more questions, there are more time to discuss this the whole day, but I think we want to continue. So we will talk soon also about how we thought about those different, like production, climate, biodiversity, and recreation. But first we will focus a bit on recreation, where we thought that, well, we focus on this road because that's where you walk, but we also, or actually the environmental psychologist wanted to invent an own path, the forest path, which some of you will walk now, but I leave to Michael, and you can present yourself and present the exercise.
Yes, I'm gonna hand out some surveys first. So
Hi.